Hey everybody, and welcome back to what appears to be a monthly update video kind of thing. I'm not entirely sure how often these will be. I don't plan to do them every month. I just know that I want at least one per month just to keep you up to date on what's going on. I guess if there's more going on, I would release them more frequently, but as is, it's been pretty straightforward. Now we have a kind of format already of how this goes. I talk about the past, talk about the present, and talk about the future. And right now I only have one thing to talk about regarding the past, because everything else kind of links into the present and the future, so they'll get addressed when I come to it. So, in terms of the past, we have Bloodborne, a great game that I'm very much enjoying, very much enjoy recording, editing, bit of a pain, but I recorded a lot. It was like 3 weeks ago maybe. I recorded close to 9 hours worth of footage for that game, and I know it's not the most viewed on my channel. It doesn't even get half the views that my Terraria videos do. It gets about 1/20th. If it were more than that, I would keep up with it more frequently, but because there are less viewers for it, I don't mind setting it to the wayside. So even though I've recorded a lot, there's a lot of editing to be done with that. I've trimmed it down to about 7 hours, 7.5 hours. And what I'm doing is, rather than splitting it into episodes of 10 to 15 minutes, I'm splitting it into 15 to 20 and sometimes up to 25-minute episodes. Just because I have so much that I can easily afford to do that. The editing, though, is a pain. I do this thing where, quite often, not just in Bloodborne, but in any game I play, I refer to enemies as nicknames and such. And I introduce the enemies every time I do this with their own stats card with weaknesses and strengths and all that stuff, and it actually takes a lot longer than it probably looks like it should. So doing that is a pain, which is why editing takes longer generally than Terraria does. So I've been doing these editing Bloodborne whenever I get the opportunity, basically, rather than focusing directly on it like I would with Terraria. I've actually recorded it up to episode 46, and I've edited a few, but not enough to start releasing them regularly again. If they start getting more views, I would definitely release them more regularly, so I recommend watching them if you want to see more of them. But yeah, don't worry, I will still get those out, because I know there are those few hardcore, die-hard Bloodborne fans. Moving on to the present, I released my Terraria Let's Build yesterday. Well, yesterday for me, it'll be 2 days ago for you guys. And surprisingly, didn't take anywhere near as long as it has done with previous Let's Builds. Usually, they're like a week overdue, so there's a week of no Terraria. This time I think it was just 1 day overdue. So that's up, and today I'm recording, as soon as I finish this, I'm going to be back on recording a bunch of Terraria again, and hopefully that will be done for the same day this goes out, hopefully. So there'll be 1 day in between the build and that, but other than that, everything should be back on schedule. Looking forward to episode 400, which is the next big milestone, and again on the 100th anniversary, 100, 200, 300, 400, I'll do something big, and I have a plan. I'm just not sure if it's big enough, and if I really want to hold off on doing it until then, I kind of want to do it sooner, because I know I can, but we'll see. Plans change. And speaking of Terraria, keep your suggestions incoming. I have the board half filled right now. I need to go back and top it up, but also I have 3.5 sticky notes worth of ideas from you guys. And, that's a lot, that's plenty, that's enough to fill the board twice over. Keep sending them, because I love your suggestions. I'll always make a note. What I've been doing is, if you've suggested something in the comments and I think I'm going to use it, I don't tell you that I'm going to use it, because I want it to be a surprise when you see it in the episodes. I think that'd be a nice little thing to have, is when you don't think you're getting through, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's your suggestion right there on the board. There you are, getting credit, and there it is, getting built. I like that idea. So if you've been suggesting stuff and I haven't been acknowledging it, don't worry, because I've definitely read it, and there's a good chance that I've put it down on my sticky notes to be done. One of the things that I spend a lot of time doing is interacting with you guys. That's like replying to your comments and stuff. and I spend about an hour every day replying to comments, and if I skip a day then I have to spend 2 hours the next day, because there are just so many of your comments to get through. So one thing I kind of want to ask of you guys, if you would like to do me a favour, is to interact with each other a little bit more, because a lot of my time when I'm replying is answering suggestions that I've already done, and it eats a lot of my time saying, yes, that's a good idea, but I've done that, I've done this, I have that, I earned those, I built that, I crafted those. It takes probably more than half of my time is spent doing that. But if you guys let each other know that that's happened, I don't have to, and it gives me more time to answer the bigger questions and the other questions that you guys have. So if you guys just want to go ahead and answer each other, let each other know if someone suggested something that's already been done, then yeah, get on with that. And be nice about it. I've seen a few nasty comments recently. I like to think I have a nice community built up here. I want you guys to get along and be happy. And I'm glad you're all here. So we're moving away from the present and to the future, and this is where my goals are, things that I'm planning on doing. And the first thing is one that spans both past, present and future. So I mentioned a long time ago about having an end card come up at the end of a video, and this would basically have links to my other videos, few annotations and images, and it's like, click here to see Bloodborne and Terraria and let's build some whatever else, things that would interest you, things that are relevant. And then someone left a comment that really sort of struck a chord with me, which is try not to keep these end cards too long, because when you're watching a bunch of episodes in a row, like through the playlist, it's not nice to have like 10 seconds, 15 seconds at the end of every single episode saying, watch these videos. And from watching other YouTubers and watching their playlists, I completely agree. Sometimes they'll have like an intro of 10 seconds and then an outro of 20 seconds. And when you're watching multiple videos from that same person, it really adds up. Even though it's generally not a lot of time, it really sort of adds up and it's annoying. So I spent a long time thinking about how I could get away with doing this without actually having an end card. And I eventually figured something out, and I'm going to reveal my secret here right now. If you want to steal this idea, that's fine. My idea was, rather than having an end card appear at the end of my video, during the last sort of 7 seconds of the video, from the side, sliding in, would be some of the, the hexagon style things I have on my banner. A couple of those slide in, each of them would then have an image or a piece of the video from my other videos, and you click those to go straight to those videos. And because it's like an overlay, it wouldn't really take away from the video, because at the end of my videos it's generally things that are calming down, isn't it? So there's nothing, I'm not going to put it in like the middle of a fight or anything like that, but you'd see those and then you could click on those and be taken to those, and I thought that's a great idea. Pat myself on the back. And then I spent a long time working on these. I thought I'm going to make these look really good, so I spent a long time making them look fancy, tried different shapes. I settled on hexagons by the time I didn't know. Made them look different shapes, different sliding in motions, animating from different directions and whatever, all at the same time, one after the other. Eventually, I figured out what it was I wanted. I'm like, okay, this is great, I'm nearly good to go. And then I found something out which horrified me, and that is annotations. That is the things you click on, that you overlay within YouTube editing software to let you click on these pictures. Those annotations only work for desktop computers and laptops. So I checked my analytics. 81% of you don't use desktops and laptops. Only 19% of people do. So if I were to do these overlays, only 19% of you could click on them. So for 81% of you, they're useless. And I just got so disheartened, because I'd put so much effort into doing these and designing them to be non-intrusive, to figure out that they're not going to work for most of you. It sucked, I'll be honest, it sucked. So I ended up doing some research, and this is where the future aspect comes in. I did some research and found out a new thing YouTube's been implementing. It's been around for a few months now, but it's called cards. I'm not fully up to date on how these work exactly, but they're similar to annotations, and I think YouTube's goal is to eventually phase out the annotations in favour of cards. But the thing about cards is that they don't have as many features available to them as annotations do. So a card would be, I don't know how to explain this, a little information thing would pop up in the video, click it, and then whatever videos I want to link to would be then within that. The only issue is, you can't like overlay them on top of other videos like I would with annotations. They will appear in a certain spot, like up here, and you click that, and the drop down menu and whatever. But then here's the thing, I can't say if you want to see my videos, click this annotation, this card, because on desktops they would appear up here, but on tablets and mobile devices they would appear down here somewhere. I couldn't direct you because they give me in different places and they do different things. Like on the desktop it puts an overlay over that you can hide and bring back or up and down, whatever. But in the tablet it's beneath the video player itself, like where the description is, it pops up like that. And you can have multiple cards, but not at the same time. So if I wanted to link you to 3 videos with annotations, I could have one here, here and here. But with cards it'd be, here's one, and then a few seconds later here's another, and a few seconds later here's another. So they're a bit of a pain to work with, but I think YouTube is working on them and trying to get them to be as good as annotations, well, better than annotations. We just have to wait for that to come into effect. So I'm going to work closely looking how the cards are going to work and try to implement them rather than having an end slate, because quite frankly no one likes end slates, and if the overlay is not going to work for 81% of you, there's just no point in me having it. Speaking of desktop PCs and laptops, a lot of you are suggesting to me, asking me to play the PC version of Terraria, and I used to answer this question a lot. I've been kind of ignoring it recently because it just seems like I'm constantly repeating myself, because I do actually plan on playing the PC version of Terraria, just not anytime right now. I've invested too much into the console version, and there's still a lot that needs to be done, and there's a new update coming out at the end of the month, I think it is, that's going to add Duke Fisher on and a bunch of other stuff, and then an update after that, who knows when. But I'm going to definitely focus on this, but I will do PC Terraria at some point, don't worry. It's one of the goals I want because it just has so much stuff in it, and I know a lot of you play PC Terraria, so a lot of stuff I do is kind of outdated. And moving on, linking actually quite well, is games. You want me to play PC Terraria, but is there anything else you want me to play? At the moment I'm playing just Terraria and Bloodborne. Before that it was The Evil Within. So I've been on a bit of a horror binge lately actually. A lot of you have been asking me to play Five Nights at Freddy's, which I kind of don't really want to, mainly because it's just so overdone on YouTube. Everybody and their mother plays Five Nights at Freddy's, and to be honest, it's not really going to have that much of an effect on me. Jump scares might make me hook, but that's it. I don't freak out, I don't scream and shout and let it all out. Jump scares are just so overdone. Done well, they work, but a thing like Five Nights at Freddy's is a constant thing, then you know to expect it, which just ruins the surprise, really, doesn't it? I prefer horror games that are more psychological almost. Yeah, sure, why not? Rather than the pure jumping out. So I don't think I'll do Five Nights at Freddy's, but never say never, I might do. But are there any other games you want me to play? PS4, Xbox 360, I don't have an Xbox One. Xbox 360, PS4, potentially PC in the future, but don't hold out for it. I mean, there's games like Ark Survival Evolved that I would like to play, and Empyrean looks pretty good, and a bunch of other games, but leave me suggestions and I'll see about getting them. Of course, that all cycles in with pay, money, moolah. I have been monetizing these videos for coming up on 3 months now, and I still haven't earned a single penny. And let me tell you, having no income for 3 months is pretty tight, especially when your rent goes up much higher than you anticipated it would do, and your savings are now dwindling to the fact that I may have to borrow money, which is not good. I don't get myself in debt, luckily. My sister can always lend me money because she's money bags. But yeah, I should be okay, because I think if everything goes according to plan, I should actually get paid for my 3 months of work. Well, 2 months of my 3 months of work, because they pay a month in arrears. I should get 2 months of that at the end of this month. I just have to make it to the end of the month. And the reason I know that is because I got this in the post. Oh yes, I got my Google crappy doodads through, so I think I'm going to actually get paid at the end of the month. Hopefully I do, because then I can start paying off lots of stuff. And that goes towards getting new games, getting some new equipment set up, and eventually saving up enough to move somewhere where I can actually have much better internet, so I can upload many more videos and also stream, because streaming is something I really want to do. But when you have a 0.7 maximum upload speed, it's not gonna happen. Not anytime soon anyway. And finally, wrapping this up on the terms of future content, I recently hit 25,000 subscribers, and thank you guys. I love you all. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. But 25,000 of you have, and that makes me insanely happy. Really, really, it does. And as a thank you to you guys, I'm going to do something that a lot of you have been asking for, wanting me to do for quite a while actually, since before the 10,000, in fact I think before 5,000 subscribers, a lot of you asked for this. So I'm going to be nice, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a Q&A. So in reply to this video, leave your Qs for me to A, and I will get on them. 2 weeks from now, I will answer these questions from your Q&A. And bear in mind, I'm not going to reveal huge amounts of personal information, so I'm not going to give you my address or my phone number. I reserve the right to not answer any question that you pose, but I'll try to get through all of them. It might be a very long video, or then again, maybe you guys don't really have much to ask me. Who knows? Ask me a variety of questions, and I will credit you, I'll create the question, and we'll see how that goes. It'll be in a separate video to this update video, so it'll be a Q&A and then also an update at some point. So yeah, leave those in response to this. If there's anything else you want to know or want me to do or ask, whatever, this is the place to leave those comments. For now though, bye bye.